The poem I'm analyzing is the Reluctance, the last poem of Robert Frost's collection of A Boy's Will. The situation in this poem was that the speaker is at the end of his journey, and he describes the dead leaves, and he asks some questions. And the structure of this poem really emphasizes and help describe the situation that the poet is trying to pull through. The first stanza was a basic description of how what the speaker's journey was like in this in this short little stanza, and then in the second and half of the third stanza, the poet describes how the speaker sees these dead leaves and the many description of the dead leaves, and then the poet puts two questions at the bottom, which shows that the speaker is actually questioning the end of his journey. Then Robert Frost also utilized many different negative word connotations to connect to how the speaker is reluctant to end his journey. For example, in the second stanza and the third stanza, the poet keeps using dead or the last known or wither, which is a connotation for death, which also connects how this poem is the last poem in The Boy's Woes. Also, and then he uses many negative connotations in the two questions at the end of the poem as well, such as aching or treason or end, which indicates that the speaker doesn't want to end this journey, and he or she proposes these questions to, I guess, to keep this journey from ending. If you look at this poem as a context to the poet himself, it's really how the poet doesn't want to end this collection, and how, for example, the first stanza, through the fields, the woods, the walls, and the highway, are all the descriptions he mentioned in the poems before Reluctance, and then when he says the leaves are all dead, to ravel them one by one, letting them go, is how he's finishing to write the leaves in his poems, the leaves of his books, and how when he's done, the leaves would be all dead. Like he'd be done with it, and then he wouldn't even go edit it, and the dead leaves would lie huddled and still. For example, leaves in the book would be still, and then but then the poet doesn't really want to end this book, so he proposes two questions to let us, the readers, continue to think about this book and continue to analyze this book. So this is really like the other poem in his collection, A Late Walk, where the poet also uses the subtle metaphors of the leaves as his poems. When he writes the leaves are falling and everything, when he writes the poem of a late walk, which indicates that he's writing, and while he's writing the leaves, he creates these leaves. And then this poem really connects to the title Reluctance, because both the speaker and the poet is really reluctant to end the journey, or to end this collection. And the poet really emphasizes this reluctance throughout the poem, using the connotations, using the metaphors, using the questions.